Lippy, how are you doing?
Hi, Kriti. I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. So let me begin with a short introduction of you. Lippy Sharma is an entrepreneur in the fields of marketing and designing. She empowers brands to win over social media. She provides customized strategies which actually generates lead conversions. She comes with her expertise in the fields of magnetic marketing and exceptional design. Reach out to her now for all the services she provides. I will leave all the related details in the description below. A warm welcome to you, Lippy, on Journeyteaches.
Thank you so much, Kriti. It was a wonderful introduction. Thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. It is my humble pleasure. So, starting with the very first question, how can brands actually make use of social media to thrive in their business?
Right. So one thing that I've realized with my own journey is that no matter you're a small brand or a big brand, you do need social media in this era because everybody out there is on some or the other platform on the social media, right? So somewhere I feel that when it comes to brand leveraging social media, it's not just a necessity, it's like a prerequisite before you start building your brand. you know like when you're planning to build a brand, building yourself on social media should begin there itself, in that initial stage itself, because it will not just help the brand to grow, but it'll also help you reach out to more and more people across the globe, across the cities that you want to touch in terms of your target audience of the brand, right? So
Uh, exactly. So,
yeah,
what would you like to say this about for the aspiring and beginners?
for the like, can you just repeat the question once for me?
And does it hold true for the beginners as well?
Yeah, for sure. Even if you're like a brand who's just starting out, if you start leveraging social media, it'll help you build a bigger target audience. It'll help you not just reach out to people, but also in terms of how your own growth is. It'll help you reassess everything that you're doing and change plans accordingly, right? So, because see, at the end of the day, you want to know if you are wanted or not in the market, right? Like if there is even a need in the market. For instance, when if for instance a starting brand, firstly you have to know if you have a need in the market or not. Like, are you solving a problem? Is there anything that you can, is there any gap that you're filling in with your presence, right? And then that journey begins of the brand building, right? So somewhere I feel that no matter you're a beginner, intermediate, or someone who's already established a company, you 150% need social media.
Definitely, that's so true. And
Yeah.
how do we actually like build social media strategies in such a way that actually leads to lead conversions? Some insights on the same.
Right. So something that I feel is two things, a brand has to be very clear on when they are beginning with, I would say, or, like even if you're like an intermediate brand who wants to come down to social media, one, you want organic growth, or you want growth through ads. You know, these are two important things we need to be clear on. Like, for instance, if it's a product based business, you do need to run ads, no matter you like it or not. The organic growth is going to take time, but then till then, will your business be able to sustain that kind of latency? That you'll have to check. So if you're clear with both of them, then you can go down to build around strategies. Because if you are somebody who's working out on ads, right, then you do need your social media strategy to be absolutely inclined with it. How? For instance, if I am, like, for instance, I'm a brand that makes purses, like or maybe I'm making wallets, for instance, right? So if it is a brand who's making wallets and they're planning to run ads, when you're running an ad, who is your target audience, what's the age bracket, what's the gender you're targeting, and your social media strategy, the designs that you make, the captions that you write, the posts that you create has to be in sync with it. They cannot target two different audiences. Otherwise, people will get confused about the brand. It has to be absolutely in sync, and that's how we'll be able to create that impact of the brand. That's how we'll be able to build up that strategy. So when it comes to social media strategy, one, the brand has to be clear on what they want to use, and two, they have to ensure that their designs, their captions, the language that they speak to, the target audience that they're having, everything goes in sync with it. So it has to be a coherent system that you're building. That's what I feel about it.
Absolutely, it matters a lot. Like the all the kind of designing and building the strategies accordingly,
Right,
identifying their
right.
target audience and going according to that.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how to frame content that exhibits exceptional design, as you said, and acts as a magnet? How to actually do that, and what kind of design matters in that?
So, okay, when it comes to design part, something that I really feel is design that's aesthetic to the eyes and that's simple for somebody to understand. These are like the two basics when it comes to making a great design, no matter what platform you're using, right? Be it Canva, be it Photoshop, be it, Figma, anything that you use to create a design. You have to be very clear on two things that, when you see it, for example, you can't use two contrast colors together on the same plate. you know you have to use like a darker theme and a lighter theme so that one shines out, but you have to also be having that much of an understanding of what to use where, which color should go into the pattern thing, which color should go into your text, which color should go, in terms of putting out the illustrations out there. If you can figure out that, I think designing is easy. Designing is not difficult. It's kind of felt that okay, it's a great big task. It's like, you know breaking a mountain, but it's not like that. You just have to get the basics very right. Is it readable to you when you're making a caption, or if you're making a carousel, or if even if you're bringing out an ad, right? If you're making like a Canva video, an IG video, for the ads, is it coming out exactly in the way, like, the colors have to be in sync with the brand, right? And they have to be readable for the target audience, you know so again, aesthetics can be changed around it, but I always feel that, simplicity wins over everything. So you can have 150 things in a plate, but you can still have two in a plate and make a big difference. You don't need 150 all the time. That's my take on design.
Absolutely, so well explained. These minor changes matter so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what is the career of social media marketing actually look like, and how one go about it?
So something that I feel about social media marketing is that it's ever evolving. Because see, one thing that's not going to stop from here on is the usage of social media, right? We'll have it more and more. We have more and more platforms coming up. We have Clubhouse now. We have, like, I'm not sure if you're aware of it, there is another platform, Speakeasy. Okay, so Speakeasy is a platform where you have calls just like Clubhouse, but you can turn the video on, so you can also like have a look at the stranger. So with all of these things in place, the social media thing is not stopping. And the next generation, with the artificial intelligence, machine learning, everything coming in place, the game is going bigger and bigger. So if you're somebody, who is ready, so one thing that I've understood is, if you're someone who wants things easy way out, then social media can look like a hard career to choose, because it needs time from you. Like, as much as time as I give into, doing the work for my clients, I give kind of similar the same amount of time into learning new things. You have to up your game all the time. But nevertheless, this is not just about social media, about upskilling yourself. It's a game everywhere, no matter what, uh, field or domain you come from. You have to upskill yourself. So if you do that, social media has like endless opportunities for you. Imagine like with the post COVID phase, we are working with people across the globe. Who would have imagined that you sitting in your hometown? Like, I'm from a two-tier city. Before COVID, I thought that okay, for making big career, I have to go to metro cities, maybe then again go to London, New York, and everything. But then post COVID, you can sit in your hometown. I'm sitting in my hometown right now, and building a career out of it, and working with, like, most of my clients are international. So the ability of connect, so with social media, I kind of feel it has come down to a global village where everybody is accessible. So if you know how to use it well, if you're ready to work on your skills, then this can give you endless opportunities, and there is like no looking back. You have to never second think about all of these decisions.
This is exceptionally so true. Social media has the power to connect people all around the globe.
Imagine how we connected.
Yeah.
Otherwise, had not it been social media, how would I know that there is some channel called Journeyteaches, and there is someone who is the founder of Journeyteaches, sitting in some part of the country. I'm sitting like about more than 1000 kilometers away from your place, but we're able to connect. So I feel if you're ready to work hard, everything is there on this platform. It'll give you even things you can never imagine.
Yeah, definitely. So, what are the steps taken for consistent marketing of an offer created by a brand, along with all the keeping in mind all the marketing strategies and everything? You can take an example to justify the same.
Right. So when it comes to consistent marketing, something that I have realized is when it comes to brands. For instance, like we take for instance an international brand, or maybe like an Indian brand. You take whatever. Take Flipkart for instance. So if Flipkart is working throughout the year, they exactly know which are the months where they can hit the biggest sales, right? Like for instance on Diwali, for instance on Holi. But even the times when those festivals are not around the corner, they exactly know what kind of like for the big billion days that you get. Those are the kind of tiny tactics I think are needed. So when it comes to consistent brand building, you got to be very clear on the outcome you want out of the brand, and who are you serving. you know if you're clear on all these two things, I think it's very important it'll be very easy to build a consistent strategy, because you know what's next. You always know what's next. you know so having more clarity in terms of who you're serving, why you're existing, why you want to do what you want to do, is going to help you do it better. If you want to be consistent, you just have to bring these pieces into place, and then use good designs. you know use good communication. I think copywriting is one of the most important aspects when it comes for any brand connecting with their consumers through social media, any platform that you use. So if you can do that, if you can get things in place and build a strategy that's coherent, that's coherent across platforms, that's coherent across the channels that you're using to market yourself, I think it'll just come out the right way.
That is so true. Like combining all the designing aspects with the strategies, it really works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
also, yeah.
No, I just said absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, is it also a big myth among beginners or aspiring people that it is very difficult to crack international clients? And as you said that you are working with a lot of international clients, so you want to give us some tips about the same?
Okay, one thing that I'll give, like I'm not someone who can give you big tips, but one thing I've learned with my journey is be your authentic self, right? Clients will come and they will go, because it's a part of the process of an entrepreneurial journey, right? But if you are your authentic self, you're going to build relationships across the business, that's going to not just help you uh, get the business better, but it'll help you as an individual better. So when it comes to cracking international clients, just one tip from mine: be your authentic self. Don't try to portray who you are not. Don't try to imitate somebody. Don't try to show off. you know don't try to think that if you talk in a certain way, they'll get you better. You talk in the way that you are. You talk with what your mind thinks, and exactly in the frame that you are. Like for instance, I was talking to one of my international clients just 30 minutes before our call started. you know and it's like it's about 3:30 a.m. at my client's place. It's an emergency, and she called me up, and I received it. But exactly how I was there, exactly I'm the same with you. There is no change. you know so when it comes to building an entrepreneurial journey, it's about building relationships, be it international, be it Indian. You be yourself. You work on upskilling yourself, get your skill very sharpened. I feel my skill is yet not sharpened. I still sometimes feel like, okay, there is so much to do, there is so much to do. So keep upskilling yourself, and be your version. You'll get international clients, and have communication. If you're not reaching out to clients will not come down to you at your home. you know are you going and engaging on the platforms? Are you engaging where your client is there? Who is your, like for instance, I'm a social media marketer. Then where is my client? My client is majorly on Facebook groups. Am I going and engaging there? If I'm not, how will I get a client? So it's kind of the thing that every opportunity will knock your door, but are you ready to open that door? That's the thing. You just have to keep the door open, and then you'll see opportunities will come your way, right?
Absolutely. Be yourself, be consistent, and you got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So, also some tips for aspiring and beginners, social media managers or marketers who want to give.
I think the one that I gave in the previous question, those are my tips when it comes to, a freelancing journey. Just keep upskilling yourself and keep evolving yourself. Do more experiments. you know don't cage yourself into a particular shell that, okay, this is what I am and this is what I can do. You can do n number of things. For instance, I started my journey with VA and SMM services, right? But later on I realized that, okay, VA is not my thing. I can't do that because it's very time bound. I want to be free. That's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm an entrepreneur because I want the freedom of time, location, and days. Like for instance, I'm very high on energy on Saturdays and Sundays, and Monday I want an off. And usually on Mondays I'm not working. Or even if I'm working, it's like a very small chunk of work that I would do. So if you want to, leverage that. So when I started with that journey, that was the kind of thing. Then I thought that, okay, I'm good with colors. When I did a SWOT analysis with my friends, I realized that I'm very good with colors and how they come out together, even though I've not learned color psychology in detail, right? I just have a normal idea. I realized that, okay, I'm great with designing. Okay, I started exploring branding. I just completed a beta project on Wix designing, and those are the next services that are adding up to my portfolio, because I felt, okay, this is more what I can do. Maybe by next year we'll be having a proper branding product suite, for the clients. So you keep evolving, keep experimenting, be your authentic self, and the world is yours. Go and leverage this time. I think we are born in one of the best times of the history ever. You'll never have access to resources, people, energy, and money that you have in this era particularly. Just use your brain, do hard work, and go for it. Do it. That's all I want to say.
Absolutely. This is so inspiring. And how do you
Thank
actually like to maintain your thing with the colors? How do you actually choose and select that what is going with what?
Okay, something that I'll tell is very honest thing. One, I have an aptitude for colors. Like, even when I got my aptitude test done in school back years ago, it already came down that I should go into design, I should go into architecture. But I didn't do that. I landed up into computer engineering because, again, it's one of the field of interest for me. I love how a whole computer system works internally. So it has been fun again on doing what I learned. But when it comes to colors and everything, I believe, one, I do it because I have that inner ability. It's a little bit of God gift. And two, I feel I just understand colors better in terms of how they would come down with each other. Like how a picture would come down together with all the colors. I think I have that basic understanding, without taking like a, I would say, like a guidance or like a coaching on it, basically. But I just understand how they come down together nice. Like, I'll know how it'll look to the eyes.
Give some
But somewhere I
interesting
feel,
examples.
what I don't know what kind of examples I can give here, but then, like on a canvas, when you make something, I just know how they all fit together better, and talk about the brand. Because see, when we're designing, we're using also elements that are brand specific, right? So then the colors and everything becomes, like, for instance, if I have to make, like, like I worked with chai pot was one of the projects that I did through one of my clients, and it was about just designing the story covers on IG. But it was like a tea brand, so very subtle colors we had, and that's the kind of vibe we wanted to emit. Very fresh and subtle was the vibe there, right? I did work with another client where the vibe was very vibrant. Okay, it was all about fun, love, happiness, and that cheerfulness was there. So again, so every time when the colors change, the base colors change, I kind of immediately understand how elements should fit into the right place so that the vibe comes out well. I still can't give you a proper answer to it because I'm not a student of visual communication. I have not yet done a course on design, or I've learned it professionally. But I think I kind of have a knack for it, and maybe I'll in the longer run, I'm gonna definitely learn it more professionally and get better on it.
Absolutely. This sounds quite interesting and I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
I hope I answered your question properly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
So I would also like to know from you, like, using this platform and to spread awareness about volunteering, as you yourself has been a volunteer on various platforms. I know for a fact that volunteers may not have the desired time, but they actually have the desired heart.
Right. I think volunteering has changed me from inside out. It has made a lot of difference. And I started volunteering back when I was in my, corporate job. And you won't believe I was like in a graveyard shift. So if I had to be the volunteer with the organization that I was working, I would only get 2 hours of a sleep after a Friday work. And I would still go for it because one thing that's very dear to me is two causes: one, children, and two, women. Right. So even down the lane next, when I plan to do be a part of organizations, I would want them to be about children or about women, some or the other way. But children like have a big place in my heart. So even if you tell me that after a 18-hour day of work I have to do something that involves children, I will still do it relentlessly n number of times, because I have that love for them. And they change you as a person. Like, I still remember the first time when I went for a camp in Camp Diaries. uh, I just saw like few children. So I was so in our offices we use laptops every single day, right? Students also use it now, not just offices. But when I saw those children touching those laptops and the glitters they had in their eyes, oh my god, I can't tell you how that made me feel. Like, something that's so mundane, it's so ordinary for us. We have access to it every single day. What big deal it is for any person living in the urban areas today to have a laptop? It's no big deal. But for someone who has never had access to something like a laptop, even when they touched the touchpad, they were so excited and thrilled. And I was like, this is what you need in life. You need in life to be happy about tiny little things of life. You need to appreciate that about life, somewhere. So volunteering changes you. It kind of gives you a new perception for life, people, situations. And you kind of realize that there is a big strata of the society that's having a lot of much to deal with than what we are. So every time when you feel like, okay, your problems are coming all over the place and life is looking so unsorted, you go and look at someone who has much more to deal on the plate than you. They have much more challenges, they have much more problems, and they are still finding reasons to smile. If that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what else will.
That is so motivating. I can feel the emotions coming in from the words itself. Thank you so
Yeah,
much for this.
you're most welcome.
Okay. You want to tell us more about and talk about more your programs and the related services? How do you actually help people and provide the desired strategies accordingly?
Right. So currently, I have not niched down yet. I'm working with service and product based entrepreneurs both. Right. I'm giving social media management services, but down the line, we have a plan of adding up ads to it also. Right. I've already shared with you, branding product suite is already on the go. And when it comes to Wix designing product suite, I'm trying to take it more on a web design level, trying to experiment with WordPress and all. So I think 6 months down the lane, we'll have a different product suite there as well. So these are the kind of things in constructions. But for now, I am giving Wix designing, social media management. Canva is like a part of it. Canva designing is like implicitly there. I don't explicitly say it. I am doing it already. But yeah, Wix designing and social media management are two of the major services that I'm giving right now. And I think 6 to 8 months down the lane, we'll have a bigger product suite.
Absolutely. I wish you all the best for it.
Thank you so much.